Welcome. This is a professional development explaining science, technology, engineering, and math. On this slide, we'll go over the contents. So we have an overview, STEM in the garden, teaching, learning, and example activities. Here's the overview. This presentation introduces why STEM is important in K through 12 classes. This particular presentation is about the La Jolla Learning Center garden, but this can also be used for any outdoor environment. STEM education is the 4 disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and math. What we're trying to do is encourage American students to take a liking and understanding for these 4 disciplines. Quoting President Obama, "We do not want to just increase the number of American students in STEM. We want to make sure everybody is involved. We want to increase the diversity of STEM programs." To implement this, many schools in California have included STEM lessons into all of their GATE programs. STEM. It's like a garden full of opportunities. The trick is trying to incorporate the different subjects besides science. The hard part of having your STEM lesson take place in the garden is the surrounding distractions. Children may be drawn to the dirt or the water and think it's more of a game rather than a lesson. So that's why doing a site survey prior to your activity is good practice to mitigate the risk of losing your kids' attention. The garden holds a world of activities for STEM-based learning. As I said before, the hardest part is incorporating the other disciplines of STEM besides just science. So here's some examples of how we can do that. Math is always an easy one because you can always use measuring, ruling, levels, things like that to measure the growth of your flowers. Engineering is also one of the easier ones to incorporate using rock beds or figuring out how plants fit into pots, and plant arrangement are all engineer-based tasks. Technology is usually the hardest one because it's most forgotten about in the garden. Examples of technology in gardening are recording the growth process on a camera, uploading pictures of your work online, printing out labels, putting solar lights in the path of the garden so you can see it at night or at back to school night, setting the pre-timer on the sprinkler system, or really anything that has to do with the watering system will usually use technology. Children knowing where their food comes from is one of the most important lessons that can be gained from gardening, because it then opens the child's mind into being conscious of where their food that they're eating is actually coming about. For kids, as we all know, it can sometimes be hard to get them to eat their vegetables or the things besides the sugary snacks. So having the kids grow their own vegetables will set a sense of pride and make their vegetables actually taste better. So half the fun of learning is getting the children into it, seeing the look on their face when they're excited about learning. So getting them in the real life setting is what's going to encourage these children to take the lesson seriously. So an example of doing this is dressing them up in the uniform of what the job is, whether you're playing scientist, archaeologist, or farmer that day. Having them dressed up will encourage them to take the project seriously. When teaching STEM in the garden, it's very important to remember your small group teaching styles so that each child can get the same opportunity. For more information about teaching styles, refer to Teaching and Learning Difficulties, authored by Peter Westwood. Interactive whole class teaching is ideal for the garden because all the students are encouraged to be involved in the conversation. Interactive whole class teaching is usually done in about 3 to 5 student groups. It gives the students a sense of control in the direction of the conversation and project. Adding a vocabulary requirement to each lesson will encourage the students to keep their conversations about the garden. Giving students time to get fully immersed into the project is also helpful because it lets them open up their mind to exploration, information, and it helps them remember and recall this later because it creates a memory for them. Learning in the garden is all about science and exploration. The garden gives children many opportunities to play, explore, pretend, imagine, and really learn and grasp where their food is coming from, which will give them a look into living a healthy lifestyle. The most common form of learning that will take place in the garden is situated learning. Situated learning happens in the real setting. It's a more practical type of learning. Children will get to experience the real life situation. For example, when the children go to the store and buy their vegetables, they will often have questions of, "Mom or Dad, how did we get these vegetables? Where did they come about?" But in the garden, since it will be the real life situation, it will teach the kids where their vegetables came from. So when they go to the store the next time, they'll be able to explain to their parents where the vegetables came from. Another key to STEM learning is parent involvement. Children will be able to expand their learning with parent involvement. Because children learn most of their habits and lifestyles from their parents, having the parents involved in the learning is key. Parent-child interaction about daily lessons will create a healthy learning environment at home. As we all know, the most enjoyable part of learning in school is when the children actually get to apply it with the activity. So, we will now discuss some of the activities that can take place in the garden. This example is excavation, meaning the children will get to play archaeologist for the day. In this activity, the learning style is discovery-based learning, meaning the children have an idea of the topic of archaeology, and then it's up to them to continue the learning and put it into practice. For this activity, in the morning, the teachers need to go out to the garden and bury some rocks or bones. You can buy a dig kit on Amazon, Target, things like that. And then the children will be put into groups to go and find the bones. So one child can be the digger. The next child can be the brusher. Another child can be recording this whole process as archaeologist teams do. And the last child can be measuring how big they are or putting the pieces together. Can you see with all these steps how we've included all disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, into this one project? Thank you for watching this professional development. I hope it helps you in the future. For more information or to see where we've gotten our research, please visit these websites or read these books. Thank you very much and see you later, educator.